All right, and now we're here for our last talk before lunch, which is going to be a fun one. If any of you have ever seen the little toys for children that you can talk to, or more recently, the new types of toys or exploration experiences for companions, you'll have some idea of what this next talk is going to be about. We'll be joined by Mr. Beng Hui Ong, who's a solution architect at Agora.io, and he's going to be talking about the application in AI for toys and companion devices. So, without further ado.
Hello, hello. Right, thanks for coming here instead of your lunch. Much appreciated. Right, my name is Beng Hui from Agora.io. So, quick introductions about Agora. So, we've been in this industry for the longest time, actually. And I think the greatest challenge for us is being seen and being known because we are actually in, more than 500,000 app, that is using our technologies. So you might be subtly using some of our technologies without realizing it, right? Powering 600 billions of live and video contents every month. So we believe in doing things at scale and reliability, and most importantly, ultra low latencies, which is very critical for our kind of applications here, AR and VR kind of experience. Now, when we have a conversations, right, like we are having conversation now, okay, it's kind of one-to-many conversations. You realize that we need to provide a more human-like experience, right? When we talk, right, we speak in different tone. You have to respond, and when you respond, everything needs to be quick, right? So latency, it's very important. Now, the last group of folks was talking about scaling up AR, VR kind of experience, but in order to scale this in a more human-like experience, latency actually kills the conversations, right? So this is something that we have been actively working on to provide the most human-like experience that you can, because conversations is about human touch. Now, the infrastructure and the architectures needs to be scalable, right? Needs to be observable, modular, and resilient. I think in most cases when we're having those conversations before, most of us has kind of gone away from the exploration stage and more towards scaling, reliability, right, and safety. That's the reason why when we design the architectures in the most modular form, right, observabilities in order to facilitate safety, compliance kind of issues or workflow becomes very, very critical. The shifting to AR, when we try to merge all this AI and AR together, things just kind of move on, right? So the shift is actually happening where AI devices, agents and such basically exist in the AR and the XR world, right? Demonstrated with a few applications that you will see this week. Right, so the shift is already happening. Okay, now, and the need of having a more human-like touch, right, becomes very critical, so that you see yourself talking to a real human, versus you seeing yourself talking to a robotic device, right? When you talk to people who do avatars and stuff like that, gestures, right, facial experience, all these things become critical, right? Most people doesn't want to talk to an avatar or an AI. They want to talk to a real human, right? In order to facilitate the more human touch, right, into the experience itself become absolutely critical. And focusing on the human behavior on conversations, right? AI agents needs to know who you're talking to, right, to be able to understand your voice, right, against all the background noises that is happening, right, voice printings, and also the assistants need to have the same point of view as you are, right, to be able to assist you in any of the functions, right? It needs to see you, it needs to have the same view of you. So this becomes quite critical, especially you need great infrastructures to scale and create this sort of human-like experience. Now, in 2025, we're working actively on real human-like experience in terms of conversations, talking to applications and having feedbacks and so on and so forth, right? But we kind of anticipate that in 2026, it's going to move on from just talking with an agent. It's sort of sharing the same experience with what the agent will have, right? Having the same field of view, having the same vision, seeing exactly the same thing, okay, and act upon those visional capabilities, right? So to see, to hear, right, to experience, and to speak and respond, right, in the most human-like fashion, it becomes absolutely critical. So some of the use cases that we have, um, for instance, we working with HTCs, Vibes on putting our technologies, right, into their AI, VR devices, right, to give a very good, field experience device that they have, right, and this is used largely in education, training, and learning environment. Now, Roki is a very interesting partner of ours, actually. Um, they provide AR devices, right? But one of the interesting things that they are doing, aside from the actual slides itself, is that they also have intrinsically safe equipments, right? Goggles and helmets and stuff for critical applications, oil and gas, right? We have a customer who use it in a coal mining scenario, right? Where the actual coal miner is kind of down there, okay, with the whole experience feedback to the control stations to monitors all the activities up there, right? So more experienced staff can actually monitor the operation of the actual coal miner down there, right? In the actual mine itself, right? So these are critical applications that require reliable infrastructures, right? And there's no compromise, right? It needs to work because if it doesn't, then somebody's going to get seriously hurt. Now, another example, right, with a company that uses us for remote cooperations, right? So this is very largely around a few engineers to be able to troubleshoot things, to see their environment, right? You've seen from the previous case where people use it for live educations, but in often, right, your engineering resource might be remote. So you need to be able to see what's going on where your skilled people is out there and able to guide the field engineers to fix certain things, be it critical or not. Now, secondary, as part of the sidetrack from this, right, and we can discuss after the session itself. This is a little device, right, that I brought in, right? This is an example of an actual AI toy, right, for Zozo, okay, that is sold in China at this moment, right? It has a pair of eyes, okay, kind of, right? But literally, the eyes is actually an OLED display that give a facial experience to the user itself, right? So it's designed to be an AI toy to be able to interact with the kids, right? Or a child to start a conversation, tell stories, sing songs, and so on and so forth. Right. It has Wi-Fi connections, right? So very easy to use, connects to the internet, connects to the service, provide a response, right? It's selling for maybe about 350, 400 RMB at this moment, which is translates to about maybe 40, 50, 60 US, okay, per piece, right? Selling for millions in China. So in a nutshell, this is actually here coming. You can buy it from the online stores, right? It's not something that is already kind of exploring, right? So there are stuff in the market that is already doing all this, having all these capabilities. Okay, kind of faster on my sessions. So with that, maybe I can take any questions if there is any.